The K4 Boost battery strap is a Kiwi design elite-style head strap made for the Meta Quest 3 and Quest 3S. It provides 3 extra hours of playtime for both virtual reality and augmented reality play. The K4 has dual fast charging capabilities, allowing you to not only charge the head strap, but also the Quest 3 at the same time, boasting a 2.5-hour charge time. The rear headrest is ergonomically designed with thickened padding to reduce facial pressure, and the enhanced counterweight helps with strain on your head and neck. The battery is credited with multiple protections, including certifications from various regulatory bodies from multiple governments. They have rigorously tested every material they have used in their labs for safety and durability. Now, with all that rigmarole out of the way, before we get into my dive on the K4 battery head strap, I do need to say that Kiwi Design has sent me this product to review and produce a video on. But let me be clear, these are my own thoughts and opinions on this product after a few months of using it. Immediately replaced my Bobo VR head strap with it so I could start testing it out. I played through all of the 7th Guest and Journey to Foundation utilizing it so I could properly test it out. I also tested out how long it would last to see if it would last the full 3 extra hours before shutting off, and here is what I found.
So I'm cutting in because I need to say one thing about the Kiwi Design head strap with the battery. Initially, I thought it wouldn't last too long, maybe like an hour or 2 extra, or like 2 to 3 hours extra, but honestly, I didn't understand how long this would actually last until I got into it, and woof, I spent nearly 3.5 hours in this. By the way, I tried to actually film all of that gameplay to put up, but none of it was usable because the settings on my OBS messed up greatly, so it just did not look good. It was so jumpy, I couldn't use any of the footage, but this lasted for nearly 3.5 hours of me being in that. That made my feet hurt because I was standing in my Catwalk VR C2 core and running around using that, and with the internal battery here and this external battery, it just lasted forever. So I honestly have to say, move, cat. Outside of my cat being in the way, I honestly have to say that if you are a casual player and you don't want to deal with hot swapping batteries, this is a good alternative to any other battery system because it lasts forever. All of your gaming sessions, if they're less than 2 hours, this is a great head strap for, because the charging time for it never had an issue with how quick this charges and how long it lasts. Now, of course, you may feel like you're going to be charging it more when you're doing just short little stints in it and then putting it back on your mount and then doing another stint and putting it back on the mount. But honestly, I charge this headset maybe every 3 or 4 days. So the fact that it can last that long without needing to be charged, when I'm doing maybe half an hour to an hour in games, it's fantastic. I absolutely love this headset, and I do highly recommend it for anyone who is not a hardcore gamer and spends a whole lot of time in their headset. If you do spend a lot of time in your headset, then you would have to drop out after like 4 hours just to recharge this, but you'd only be out for like 2 hours. However, there are better alternatives out there to keep you in game longer. But yeah, this is a great head strap. It's comfortable, both the top strap here and the headrest part. This padding here is so comfortable. It's got faux leather on the outside and what feels like memory foam on the inside. So honestly, it's really good. But yeah, I definitely recommend this head strap to anybody who is just a casual gamer and doesn't really care about hot swapping batteries and spending a whole lot of time in your headset. Let's jump back into the rest of the review.
In the Pro list, it does extend the playtime. I went from being able to play for close to 2 hours on just the HMD alone to almost doubling that, which is great because I'm not going to keep the headset on for more than maybe 2 hours depending on how deep I'm going into a game. Also, the charging time isn't too far off either. When the headset would shut off, I would connect it to a 100-watt USB-C cable and it would charge fast. I would say it took less than 2.5 hours, so battery charging time is a big check in the Pro column. The extra thick pad on the back is so much more comfortable than Meta's official Elite head strap and Elite head strap with battery, which begs the question as to why they even made it, because it was just terrible in so many ways. The arms have a hinge on them that allows the strap to move up and down by 52 degrees, and that makes putting on and taking off the head strap so much easier because you can put the HMD on your face and pull it over the top onto the back of your head and only have to tighten it a bit to fit it snugly on. The top strap also has thick padding on it to help with comfort. You can really feel it when you first put it on and sometimes have to readjust it. But overall, once I got into a game, I pretty much forgot about it. The strap was that comfortable. The battery connected on the left arm of the strap has a unique feature where it goes from the charging port of the Quest 3 and disappears into the hinge, meaning it is out of the way and no loose wiring can be snagged if you throw your left hand over your shoulder. The ratchet on the back was very clicky when putting it on and tightening the strap down to your head. It held strong even while moving around a lot, and easily came undone when you wanted to twist it to take it off. It's a very well done feature on the head strap, and Kiwi killed it with that one. But here's the kicker. It's $50 cheaper than the official Meta Quest Elite head strap with battery, and the same price as the Meta Quest Elite head strap. It gives you better comfort, a more reliable battery, and is just a better head strap all around. Now, we're going to talk about battery life. It extends the life of the Quest 3 by more than 2 hours, but I've never gotten the full 3 extra hours it claims. Now, I did get 4 hours out of it, which is, in all honesty, more than enough for a good long session of play. Now, that being said, there have been times when I wanted to play longer, but the HMD would die in the middle of playing, so I had to take it off, put it on the charger, and wait for it to charge. If my Quest 3 still had battery life in it, the charging wouldn't take the full 2.5 hours Kiwi Design said it would before the completely empty battery was back to full charge. However, if my Quest 3 was drained completely, it would take close to 3 hours before it was fully charged. But even that 3-hour charge time isn't too bad, considering it would take so much longer for Meta's official head strap to charge. Overall, there are some really good things in the Pro column. Now let's get into the cons. A big con for me is that the battery isn't hot swappable. The lack of external battery choices to take off and put on means that, like I said before, you have to wait for everything to charge, where with a hot swappable battery setup, you don't have to worry about coming out of your headset. So I'm dinging this strap for that, since there are a few others who do this. Another con for me is honestly how thick the headrest pad was. Sure, the padding made it more comfortable, but when trying to put it on the first time, even with the strap completely extended out, it was a bit difficult because the pad was touching my head, and finding the sweet spot of where to put it took a minute. But once it was worn in, this wasn't a big issue anymore. In fact, I rarely opened the strap all the way when putting it on and taking it off. So while this is in the con column, it's only there because it happened when I first started using it. So in the Pro column, we have extended battery life, quick charging time, thick headrest pad for more comfort, arm hinges for ease of use, top strap comfort, battery connector location, great ratchet, and fantastic price compared to Meta's own battery head strap. The con columns are having to leave games to recharge the battery or headset and battery, charging time when both the headset and battery ran completely dry, and the thick pad in the back until it is worn in. My thoughts on this product. It is great for casual VR enjoyers, people who don't spend a lot of time in their headset and don't mind the charge time on it because they're not going to spend hours upon hours inside the headset. For the more hardcore of enthusiasts, I wouldn't say it's a bad choice, but remember you'll have to stop your gameplay in order to recharge the battery. So all in all, I'm going to give the Kiwi Design K4 Boost Battery head strap a 3.5 out of 5 because it is a great head strap for casual players, but there are better straps for the more hardcore VR divers. So pick it up if you are a casual player. I have provided a link to the Kiwi Design product page in the description down below.
So, thank you for joining me on Weaver's Wonderful World, and remember, if you enjoyed this content, like the video, subscribe to the channel for more like it, leave a comment down below, and in the description there's a link to my Discord server where if you join there, we can talk about all things VR, video games, any hobbies you might be interested in, and maybe even play some multiplayer games together. But once again, thank you for joining me on Weaver's Wonderful World, and remember, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. Bacon is the best breakfast food, so eat up, stay healthy, and I'll catch you VR divers in the next video. Oorah!